Alright guys, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. We are in, I don't know what week it is, but I know we're 4 weeks out at this point. It's May the 10th, and we compete on the 10th of next month, so we're exactly 30 days out from our actual meet day in Chicago. We're feeling relatively good. Ty's with me today, so he's getting in a workout too. So we're gonna have a good day. Energy's gonna be high. I'm fortunate when he does get a chance to come along and work out with me, because a lot of times I won't push myself as hard when I'm in here alone. So I do really appreciate that. Nonetheless, we're gonna have a relatively heavy squat, a probably easy incline bench is what I looked at, and then a relatively easy pause dead, and maybe like 1 or 2 accessories after that. It's currently Mother's Day, so after we get all of this done, I'm gonna take my mother to dinner and chop it up with her, show her some appreciation, get her some flowers, what have you not. So very excited for that later on in the day. It's at our restaurant that we've been to before. We've only been once. It's called Dorothy's downtown. It's really good. If you haven't been and you're local to Jacksonville and watching this video, which most of you probably are, I definitely highly recommend giving it a try. Nonetheless, we're gonna get to it. Let's get after it. Alright guys, so we made it up to the top set now. I was going to do 485 as like a last warm-up from the 375 that I just did, but since 485 is so close to 507, it didn't really make sense. I figured I would either take like an in-between warm-up at like 463, or I would just jump to the weight, which just feels better to just jump to the weight, because I usually don't touch in between weights if I don't have to. So we're just going to get after it at this weight, if anything. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so now we're on the back downs. We got 450 for a 4x3, I believe. Should be relatively easy. I mean, the top set, it moved kind of janky, but I'm also not like fed today. I'm also not like super hydrated. I did not hydrate well yesterday, so things are feeling kind of off, but nothing to the point where it's gonna make me miss anything. Like the strength is still there, the mental is still there. It's just like I feel my body's feeling it, And just got a chance, to talk to my coach off camera. I don't know if you guys saw him, but that's Mike, and he was saying that pretty much fatigue is going to be a little bit higher, and going into the last month, all of this stuff is going to be like, sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see how things get along for these last 4 weeks, if anything. With it being a little bit on the higher side of fatigue, I'm still very confident. Like, there's never a day where I feel like I'm gonna miss whole lift, So I'm feeling good enough for that. I'm just trying to make sure I keep my cycling of creatine on, and as well as keeping my cycling of hydration and making sure I eat well. I'm gonna start picking up a little bit on cardio, because I am a little bit overweight. I've been at 167 to 169 over the last couple days, and the cap is 165. Which in most cases I'm usually comfortably around 165, if not below. I just think it's a little bit heavier right now because of the intense amount of hydration that I've been doing, as well as not necessarily eating the best. But we're changing our diet up a little bit this week. I got my boy Chris to meal prep me, so that should help me out with trimming down some of the pounds, making sure that when I do eat meals, they're not trash, So very happy for that. Very excited to get into, having something that's more locked in, and that should translate even to this, because all the nutrients I'm getting is nutrients for the being an athlete, So nonetheless, enough yapping. We're gonna get to it. All right, guys. So as you can see, we didn't squat for very long. The main reason being is that I actually kind of hurt my back a little bit. My lower right side of my lumbar has been a problem for me before, in which I've injured it pretty badly to the point where like I couldn't pick things up. Like not even the pound plates, like really shoot electrical current pretty much up my back to where like I was cooked. So I got to be really safe around back injuries. So that's why you guys will only see the back downs that I did do. Unfortunately, I wish I was able to finish because I don't like leaving things unfinished, you know, if I don't have to, which inherently also may mean that I might have to skip deadlift today. It just really depends on like when I get under the bar for deadlift, if it's like super back intensive or if I'm feeling my back a lot, or if it's like, you know, gonna be an issue with me going to those heavier weights I got there. I think I only have a 4x2 and it might be pause, I'm not 100% sure. It's not supposed to be crazy heavy, but still loading things like that on my back could hurt it, so I'd just rather be safe than sorry. We only got a 4x3 here, so I'm probably just gonna do, so 4x3 is 7. So I'm probably just gonna do, what is that, 4 times 3, that's 12 reps. I might just load 185 or 225 and do 12 just straight out. We'll see, so. It's 12 reps, however close you can get to 12 without failing. It don't matter. You don't have to do 4 sets of 3. Just gotta get 12 reps out. Alright guys, so we made it on the deadlift. This is kind of like the tester weight. I just had my coach leave on whatever he had left on the bar before he left, when he was unracking it, that is. And this is kind of going to be just like a tester to see how my lower back feels. If I don't feel good doing this, then I'm probably just not going to deadlift today. And you guys will probably catch that part of the footage tomorrow. But we're gonna at least check and see. I don't want to make the day a complete loss, so we're gonna see how it feels and we'll get to it. Whatever makes you get it up, man. If you want to switch to that, that's fine. It's just like I said, make sure that when you get into the bar, you're opening up your hips. You have to allow your body to use it as a lever. Like you have to keep the bar against your legs and use it as a lever, you know? So, grip. When you get like a little bit heavier, it's harder to grip the bar. Like if you get, you can chalk if you want to. Just helps you out with grip. It makes your hands dry. So like there's no like slipping, you know? That's if this shit feels good. If it don't feel good, I'm not doing it. Alright guys, so this is going to be our last set. I was going to do sets of 2. I'm really running short on time, so we really just have to make this a set of 6 and just knock it out, honestly. So not much more talking from here. I got to get in and get out so I can get home to shower and get ready for my Mother's Day dinner with my mom. So let's get to it. that's it for the day. Relatively easy day for the most part. Like I said, I wish I was able to get through squat earlier. I know squat is kind of like my thing that I'm really good at right now, but like I mentioned to you guys earlier, my back has been through so many forms of injury just from deadlift and squatting that I really wouldn't want to push it on a day like today. Dang, my throat's dry. But other than that, we're gonna pack up, get out of here. It's 5:35 right now. It's gonna take me roughly about 28 minutes to get home. So I'll get home roughly around like early 6 o'clock, 6:05-ish. And I have to get ready to get to this dinner. So until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Don't know what we have then, but whatever we have, you guys will see. So until then. Hey guys, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. Today we have a Usapl bench day. Shouldn't be anything crazy. It's actually a relatively quick day for the most part. We don't really get into like heavier bench, at least to my knowledge. At least until next week. I think we have heavy singles-ish, double-ish, whatever coach wants to give me. But this week we have a little bit still on the volume side of bench, which I wasn't thinking that we were gonna have. But hey, he knows what he's talking about. I'm not in any type of rush to get to heavy lifting, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So this week should be pretty interesting as far as the way that this should move and the way that deadlift should move. I know deadlift, I'm not going too crazy. And I know for this, I'm not going too crazy. So I'm wondering how that's going to transfer over on meet day a little bit. But I mean, he's coached me successfully so many times thus far. I know he would put me in the right position to perform and excel. So we're going to get to this Usapl bench, and the rest of these accessories should be a relatively quick and easy day, honestly. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so we made it up to our working sets. So we have a 6x3, anywhere between 235 to 250. It says 240 on the program, so I'm just doing 242. It just makes the most sense. We're feeling good on the warm-up, honestly. Not too good, not too bad in a sense. Like, elbow is still like, you know, it's always like that anytime my day I come in here and I bench, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So still feeling that, but overall, like strength-wise, nothing feels like to the point where, oh, I'm not gonna get it. This all feels super reasonable. This all feels like super easy for the most part. So I'm very happy with that. I hope this transcends to a big bench on meet day, which it should. We've been working up some crazy stuff. Even when I was hitting my like triples and I guess quadruples in the 300 range a couple weeks ago when you guys watched those videos for like the 315, the 320 that I did for 4 on both of those. That was unheard of. So I may feel a little bit like more drained now in a sense, but that's the way you should feel coming to like the latter side of prep. My body's fatigued, you know, and my energy levels are just a little low today, I'm not gonna lie. But that's not gonna stop me from being great. So we're gonna get after this 6x3. Normally I would do a 3x6, if I'm gonna be honest with you, which that might actually happen. It depends on how these first like couple reps move. If y'all see me not stop after the 3rd rep, just know it turned into a 3x6. So we're gonna get into it. Alright guys, so we've made it to overhead press. My biceps, for some reason, are screaming. And I think it's just because how heavy we're gonna lat pull down. I usually don't go that heavy, but like when the boys are around, a little bit equal lift happens, you know what I'm saying? At least on accessory movements, not on compounds. Not, at least not anymore. But my upper back is torched, my biceps are torched. I guess they took over a lot more on that heavier lat pull down than I thought they would. So they're screaming at me right now to stop doing arm movements, but that's not an option. So we got a 3x15 here. Should move relatively well. Like I said, this is not a movement I'm strong at, so I don't usually load it crazy, but getting the volume in nonetheless does really help transfer to my bench. So like I said, if you ever are someone who struggles with, you know, not the greatest bench press, hit shoulders as hard as you can, hit upper back as hard as you can, and hit your lats as hard as you can, just in general. Those 3 movements or 3 body parts, as well as I guess your chest, I really minimally hit chest, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Those 3 movements overall are gonna transcend to your bench more than anything else. And of course, like maybe a little bit triceps here or there for sure, blast them when you can, but those 3 body parts are what consists of a good bench, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm not like the most scientific base lifter at all times, but I'm just going based off the way that my body responds. So if you are struggling, give it a try. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, we're gonna get to this lift, so let's get after it. After I catch my breath, that is. Alright guys, so we've made it a bicep curl. My arms aren't screaming as much as they were a second ago. I was able to catch my breath a little bit too, so I'm still like really gassed and fatigued, but I think that's a combination of like not great hydration, as well as like I'm feeling a little sick. I don't know if it's like a real sickness right now. Hopefully it's not hantavirus. I really fucking hope not, but I feel a little sick, a little out of it, like kind of a hoarse throat, I guess. Everything's kind of like all going bad at the same time right now, but I'm not gonna let that defeat me. So I'm gonna make sure I get through this workout as well as I can. Like I said, I don't feel the greatest, but you can't let that be the thing that stops you, you know? On days like this where you show up for yourself, as I've probably mentioned several times before, these days are some of the most important days out of any days that we come to train in the gym, because if we can make it a good workout, or at least even a decent workout on a bad day like this, it means way more than a good workout on a good day, because any good day, you should be able to do whatever you need to do. On a bad day, if you're still able to do what you need to do, that just means your good days are going to be that much higher. The highs will be higher, and the lows will be way less significant when they do come by, which I'm very grateful for, because right now I'm in kind of a low, but it's way less significant than it would normally be. I was still able to hit all my benches today. I was still able to get all my reps in on everything that I did, and I'm still able to get through my full workout without like wanting to go home and just quitting, you know. So keep that in mind. We're gonna get to the rest of these bicep curls though. Alright guys, it's the perfect way to round up another workout. Today was really good. As I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I'm very proud. I showed up for myself today. I really did not feel good going throughout this whole workout. So I'm very happy that we got through it. We were able to, you know, like I said, stay in the pocket for the most part. We have a little bit of a volume intensive week for the rest of the week. Hopefully with the rehydration and the food that I should get in today, I feel a little bit better. I feel a little like tingly in a sense, like sick, kind of like fever or just like fluish. Hopefully it's not that. It's just my body feels like severely emaciated in a sense, and hopefully it kind of clears out after I hydrate. I don't know, we'll see. But other than that, things move relatively well. I'm very happy with it. Stay tuned for the next video, guys. As I say always, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Put it on while you're eating, while you're, you know, in class, while you're in between things, while you're on the treadmill doing cardio. Share some love with your boy, you know what I'm saying? So, nonetheless, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.